everyone, welcome to another episode of Grammar Lessons. My name's Nushin and this is English Path. Today's lesson is about nouns, all you need to know about nouns in English grammar. So let's go. Nouns are words we use to name people like Nushin, teacher, places like classroom, park, things like TV, lesson, qualities like happiness, enthusiasm, and activities like soccer, shopping. In general, we have two types of nouns, proper nouns and common nouns. Proper nouns are words that are names of people, names of places, institutions, days of the week, months of the year, holidays, and they are always capitalized, which means we have to write the first letter in a capital letter, like Harry Potter, a first name and a last name, Berlin, the name of a city, YouTube, the name of an organization, institution, website, April, a month, and if you're mentioning any month in any language in English, again, it'll be capitalized. America, a country, the Eiffel, a monument, Sunday, a day of the week, and Christmas, a holiday. Another crucial capitalization note is that the beginning of each sentence or question and the word I, regardless of where in the sentence it is used, is capitalized, so do not forget that. Common nouns are words that refer to objects, people, or things, but they do not refer to the name of a particular person or thing. Like, my name is Nushin. Nushin is a proper noun. But I'm a teacher. Teacher is a common noun. I'm a teacher and there are millions of other teachers in this world too. So it doesn't make the person or thing unique. And other examples are film or movie, like Harry Potter is a movie, city, Berlin is a city, website, YouTube is a website, April is a month, America is a country, the Eiffel Tower is a monument, Sunday is a day, and Christmas is a holiday. Common nouns are either countable or uncountable. Now, countable nouns are those that can be counted separately, like the fingers of a hand. And they can be used plurally. We'll get back to this after I give you examples. Or we can use them with articles a or an and numbers, like book, books. Books is the plural form of the singular noun book. Lesson, lessons. Back to the plural thing. Some nouns have different spellings when they're used plurally, like potato, potatoes, you see that E? Or leaf changes to leaves, just like knife, knives, life, lives, wife, wives. If a noun ends in Y and there is a consonant letter before Y, change the Y into IE, just like city that changes into cities. If you don't know what consonants and vowels are, just watch my previous video, which is linked here. And in it, I explain everything about the English pronunciation, including vowels, consonants, syllables, and intonation. And if a noun ends in Y and there is a vowel letter before Y, the Y remains the same. So you don't make any changes to the word, but adding S. So like toy, toy, toys. Some countable nouns completely change when they're used plurally, like children, which is the plural form of child, or people, which is the plural form of person. It is a common mistake among English learners to assume children or people as singular nouns because they don't end in S. But always be aware of the fact that not all plural forms end in S. We have irregular ones and we need to learn them all. And surprisingly enough, some nouns do not change at all when they're used plurally, like sheep. The plural is also sheep. Or moose. The plural is moose. Some nouns look plural but are actually singular, like fields of study, usually. Physics. Physics is my least favorite subject. Statistics. Again, when you're referring it as a field of study, as a major, it is used singularly, but as numbers, it can be used plurally, like the statistics show that the number of people who got ill in that area was really low. I didn't say the statistics shows. Statistics means numbers here, and it is plural. Mathematics, news, gymnastics, economics, they're all singular. Uncountable nouns are those that cannot be counted separately, one by one, like water. You can't be like one water or one water, two waters. And therefore cannot be used plurally or used with articles a or an or numbers, like water, crime, employment, sugar, pollution, health, hair, air, happiness. Here are some categories of uncountable nouns. Liquids, tea, milk, fruit juice, water, coffee. Food, chicken, meat, bread. Now about chicken, if you're referring to chicken or fish as the animals that are animate, are alive, you can count them. You can be like one chicken, two chickens, three chickens, or one fish, two fish, three fish, a million fish. Fish is one of those words that doesn't change when used plurally. However, when you want to talk about the different types of fish, like the different breeds, you can use fishes. Kind of complicated. Anyways, when you're referring to chicken and fish as animals, you can count them. But when you're referring to them as food, they are uncountable because we eat parts of them, right? And I had some chicken for lunch, or I had chicken for lunch. Most vegetables like lettuce or broccoli and abstract ideas, things you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot draw specifically, like what is happiness to you? You have your own definition of happiness. I have my own definition of happiness. I have a picture in my head and you have your own picture in your head. So they can't be seen or touched, but we know they exist. Like happiness or advice and things like that. Powders and grains, things that are made of particles, very small parts. Like if you want to sit down and count all the grains of rice in your rice container, you can. You practically can. But is it possible to count all the millions? No. So we take them as uncountable. Different types of gas, like air, oxygen. Natural phenomena. Phenomena is one of those irregular plural forms. The singular form is phenomenon or phenomenon. Like rain, weather. They can't be used plurally because they are uncountable. I'd like to remind you of these very often because they're among the most common mistakes made in English, so just be cautious. And mass nouns as in furniture or transportation. Like a chair is a piece of furniture, a table is a piece of furniture. Now check this out. The words money and time are uncountable. Now many of you are like, what? I can count money. It's not money that you can count. It's the bills or the coins that you can count. And time, it's not time itself you can count. It's the hours, minutes, seconds, days, weeks, etc. that you can count. However, when you use time to refer to the number of occurrences something happens, you can use it plurally. Like I visited that museum 2 times. So as I just mentioned, the different units of time are countable, like seconds, minutes, hours, etc. And about money, the different types of currency are countable, like dollars, pounds, euros. A great deal of money is wasted on things we don't actually need. Is wasted. Money is wasted. A great deal of it is wasted. Millions of dollars are wasted on useless stuff. So dollar is a type of currency, is countable, but money itself is uncountable. Time is the most valuable thing we have, and I'm so short of it. 5 days are required for the process to complete. So 5 days, we can count them separately, are, so we use a plural verb to talk about it, but time is the most valuable thing we have. Then again, if you're using an amount of currency or units of time as a whole unit, then you have to use them singularly with singular verbs. Like, $8,000 is a really high price for a sloppy dress like that. $8,000 is because I'm referring to $8,000 as the price of the dress, so it is one whole unit. Or 200 minutes is an excessively long running time for a movie. 200 minutes is the running time, okay? Running time, singular. 200 minutes is a unit considered as a whole. To talk about amounts of things, we need quantifiers. Here are the quantifiers used for countable nouns. Many or not many, a number of, a majority of, a third, quarter, etc. of, like a fifth of, a few, none of the, both, a couple of, and a pair of. Notes to consider. Many is used in both questions and positive sentences. Like, how many books did you buy? Oh, I bought many, or I bought many books. I didn't mention books because it is clear from the context what noun I'm referring to. A number of needs a plural verb. 2,000 people were surveyed. A number of people were surveyed, right? What was that number? 2,000 people. 2,000 people needs a plural verb. So a number of always needs a plural verb. The number of, on the other hand, requires a singular verb because the subject of your sentence is actually the word number. Like, the number of people who took the survey was considerable. The number, 2,000, was considerable. A few is considered an adequate quantity. Adequate means enough. Like, I have 2 eggs and I want to bake a cake for my family. I have a few eggs. They're enough. Few is not enough and gives your sentence a negative meaning. Like, I have only 2 eggs and I want to bake a wedding cake for 200 people. 2 eggs are certainly not enough, so I say, I have few eggs. Or I could even say, I don't have enough eggs. You can use none of the with both singular and plural verbs, like, none of the classes is empty, or none of the classes are empty. They're both correct. And both will make your subject plural. For example, both person A and person B, so 2 people, right? So the verb has to be plural. I have a lesson on coordination in English, both and, either or, neither nor, not only but also, and you can watch it here. So the example is, both Mindy and Lexi, 2 people, were trying to win the competition. And here we have quantifiers for uncountable nouns. Much or not much, little, a great deal of. Use much in questions and mostly negative sentences like, how much money do you have? I only have enough to get on the bus. Or, I don't have much money left. The difference between a little and little, which are used for uncountable nouns, is exactly like the difference between a few and few, which are used for countable nouns. Like, I have a cup of milk and I want to make a cup of coffee. It's enough milk, so I have a little milk. But then, little is not an enough amount and therefore gives the sentence a negative meaning. Like, I only have 1 cup of milk and want to make banana milkshake for 6 people, which is certainly not enough. So I say, I have little milk, or I could even say, I don't have enough milk. And quantifiers that can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns are
a lot of,
some, any, no, all of, most of, plenty of, and enough. Some uses plural nouns and plural verbs with countables, and singular nouns with singular verbs for uncountables, like, some books are missing from the shelves. And for uncountables, there is some sugar in my coffee. Use any in questions and negatives both for countables and uncountables. And the difference is that any uses plural nouns and plural verbs with countables, but singular nouns and singular verbs with uncountables. Like, are there any people in the park? No, there aren't any. Is there any watermelon left in the fridge? No, there isn't any left. Now, when you buy a watermelon, you usually don't eat it completely at one go, unless you really love it. So you cut it and eat pieces of it. So then you can take it as uncountable, like, is any of the watermelon left? No always uses a positive verb because in every negative sentence, you can only have one negative word. So when you have no, the verb has to be positive. And it can use both singular and plural verbs with countable nouns and only singular verbs with uncountable nouns. Like, there is no supermarket in this area. Supermarket is countable. And with no, we can use it singularly. It means that there isn't a supermarket or there are no supermarkets in this area. There is no time to go shopping today. Time is uncountable and obviously has to be used singularly. All of, most of, and plenty of are used with plural countable nouns and therefore plural verbs, and singular uncountable nouns and singular verbs. Like, all of his books are about psychology. All of his books are. All of the milk is gone sour. Remember to always use enough before nouns. Like, we have enough tomatoes for the salad, or we have enough lettuce for the salad. I'll give you a very easy rule to follow. Enough starts with E and noun starts with N. In the alphabet, E is before N, so enough noun. And remember to use enough with plural countable nouns and singular uncountable nouns. Remember when I told you that you can use articles a or an with countable nouns? Now let's get familiar with these articles and see when to use a or an and when to use the. To introduce a person or thing, use a or an. I have a mug on my desk. Okay, I introduced my mug to you. It is on my desk. Now, when I want to talk about it again, I'll say, I bought the mug a few years ago. Which mug? The one that's on my desk and you're familiar with. So when your listener or audience is already familiar with what or who you're talking about, you can use the. Use the to talk about unique concepts like the sky, the sun, the moon. The narrows the noun down to one particular person or thing. For example, did you do the homework? When you're talking to your classmate, both of you know which homework you're talking about. Like, you know which specific one you're talking about. In this case, for example, the chemistry homework. No, I'm still working on it. Or in a workspace, when you say the manager is not here today, everybody knows which manager we're talking about. The one manager who manages that business, right? So to introduce a person or thing for the first time, we use the indefinite articles a or an. But of course, if that thing is uncountable, you can't use a or an because a or an both mean one, and uncountable nouns cannot be used with numbers. If that countable noun starts with a vowel sound, you will use an umbrella. I highly recommend that you watch my previous video, which is all about pronunciation. If your countable noun begins with a consonant sound, you will use a, like a unicorn. You see, both of these words start with the letter U, but it's the sound that matters. Watch that video, I explained everything there. This can be a little bit tricky, so pay attention. If there is an adjective between your noun and the article, by the way, my next video is about adjectives. All you need to know about adjectives, and after I post it, I will link it here. Like amazing novel, your noun is novel and amazing is an adjective. You don't care what the noun begins with. You just care what the adjective begins with, what sound it begins with. An amazing novel. A fabulous ending. You see, ending starts with a vowel sound, but it's fabulous. We need to check. A brilliant artist, an honorable moment. Always use a or an to talk about jobs, like I'm a teacher, I'm an English teacher. What about you? Tell me about your occupations in the comments. Alright, now you know everything you need to know about common nouns. Let's shift back to proper nouns. Proper nouns are not normally used with the definite article the, except for the following. Country names when they are plural or contain words united, union, or of phrases like the Netherlands, the Philippines, the United States of America, or the United Arab Emirates. Names of most buildings or structures like the Eiffel or the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building. Names of large regions, oceans, rivers, deserts, things like that, like the Rhine or the Rhine River, the Middle East, which is a large region. Family names made plural. Mr. Wilson, his wife and children are the Wilsons, the Wilson family. Names of mountains or mountain ranges like the Everest or the Everest Mountain. Another way of mentioning the names of mountains is using Mount and the name of the mountain, and you capitalize Mount. Mount Everest. A mountain range, the Alps. Nationalities ending in "is" or "ish" when they're used to refer to the entire nation, like the Chinese. The Chinese work really hard, which means the Chinese people work really hard, or Chinese people work really hard. The British. When you want to make it clear which person you're referring to, you can use the definite article "the" before a proper noun, like a name of a person. Like, do you remember John? Which John? The John from 5th grade who sat behind me? Sure. You can even use the indefinite articles a or an when referring to people, like, there is a John in my class who is very smart. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please support me by hitting the like button and also by subscribing to my video by clicking that little button in the corner. And also let me know in the comments what you think of the content I'm creating. And take care, guys. See ya. Things like TV. If a noun ends in Y and there is a what was that? The Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower, uncountable. Now, common, I need to sneeze, but I can't. And they are plural. The word remains, that doesn't change. And there is a vowel sound, consonant. There is a consonant sound letter. Use a. Running out of battery again. The mug that I told you is now again, I highly recommend that you watch my previous video.